Thank you all and good morning. I would like to welcome you all here on behalf of the Upper J Fire Department, its commissioners, its members, and the Ladies Auxiliary to our dedication of our fire station. I have some guests I would like to introduce. Please bear with me. Names are, and I really would be embarrassed if I mispronounce it. Essex County Clerk Joseph Pavacha, hopefully I got that right. Essex County Treasurer Michael Discus. Keene Town Supervisor, Bill Fairby. Bill we know very well. Wilmington Town Supervisor, Randy Preston. Randy's right here. Essex County Supervisor, Edward Gardner. Members of our town board from here in the town of Jay, Archie Depot, Amy Shelton, and Jerry Hall. Members of our fire commissioning staff that are here, Brian Walton, Wayne Roberts, Mark Vondell, and any other distinguished guests that we have with us this afternoon or this morning. Thank you all for taking time from your day to share this experience with us. It's a special honor for me to recognize and welcome the Governor of the State of New York, Andrew Cuomo, back to the Upper J and to the North Country. Governor, thank you very much for helping us out. It was nearly 3 years ago that Hurricane Irene visited our community. She was uninvited, but she came anyways. No one will forget those days. The floodwaters, the damage, the houses, the businesses, the cost to the fire station itself. Governor Cuomo was a familiar face throughout the storm, its aftermath, right up to this very day. Without his support, we would not have been able to rebuild. There is no doubt in anyone's mind in this community, this township, or this county that that would never have happened. Governor Cuomo delivered, and that is why we're here today, to celebrate the reopening of this fire station. This community and our department is very grateful for the state and its assistance that made this day possible. I now would like to introduce, it is my privilege and honor to introduce our senator from this region, Senator Betty Little.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Another beautiful day in the North Country and another great visit from our Governor, Andrew Cuomo. Once again, here to offer support and help us out. But I want to thank you, Chief, and all of your firemen and women who have done such a great job on this wonderful firehouse. You've really outdone yourselves, and it's on high ground. I dare the water to rise this high. Maybe I shouldn't do that because we all know the power of water is beyond us. And I was so impressed with the sign when I first came in. It said, all men are created equal, and then some become firefighters. So that is so true. We are so fortunate to have these wonderful men and women who spend so much time, not just fighting fires, but in the training that they have to have in order to be good firefighters and to keep us safe. So thank you all very much, and congratulations on the firehouse. So we know that Governor Cuomo has been with us a lot of times here in the North Country. He was here when we first assessed the damage from Hurricane Irene. I remember it well, and all the damage going around us. He came up with the program, Neighbors Helping Neighbors, and Laboring for Your Neighbor on Labor Day. And our whole community got out, as well as all around the area came and tried to help out and to clean up. He came back to tell us the good news that Route 73 was going to be opened in some miracle type of work that DOT did in less than 2 or 3 weeks, 73, and our real lifeline to the North Country was once again available. And he's also come back to show us how we can rebuild and have programs to help us rebuild, but how we can rebuild better so that we're not making the same mistakes and asking for the same problems again should we have another disaster. So I'm glad to report to the governor, and I think you'll all agree with me, that all of his trips to the North Country promoting tourism, having events here, have helped us, and things are good. I can feel the energy in people, you can feel the enthusiasm, the happiness in our people, the business is doing well. just about everybody, actually everybody I've talked to, I haven't heard anybody, I shouldn't say that, I haven't heard anybody that hasn't had a good summer, so, and I don't want to hear it, so that's the best part. But really, we appreciate the governor's help, and it just goes on, and so I'm really proud and pleased to be here today, and to also talk about how our state legislators, our local government, and the governor's office have worked so well to make things happen in the North Country, to improve the quality of life, but really to help us with tourism and our economy, which was so desperately needed through the years. So thank you, Governor, and to Randy Douglas, the chairman of our Essex County Board. Thank him, and all of the supervisors have worked so well together. It's all about working together. And it's now my pleasure to introduce my friend and our fearless leader in Essex County, Randy Douglas.
Good morning. Thank you for attending today's grand opening ceremony of the new Upper J Fire Department. I want to say special thanks to my sister who came all the way from Colorado to be with us today. My brother-in-law Bobby and my daughter Savannah is here, so thank you. It means a lot to me. This historical event will long be remembered as one of the greatest moments in the town of Jay's history. Almost 3 years ago to the day, August 28, 2011, Hurricane Irene landed upon us. I will never forget the day as it rained and it rained, like none of us had ever witnessed before. I remember placing calls to many town, county, state officials to get prepared for another flooding of the Alsable River. We all knew the drill as we had been through it so many times before, working with town and county emergency services departments, town employees, and elected officials. Plans were made for temporary evacuations, shelters, you name it, we were there to plan it again, to do it all again. That afternoon, I said goodbye to my wife Peggy, not realizing how our lives and all the good people of our little towns of Jay and Keene lives would be so drastically changed. The Alsable River rose to heights never seen before. Flood waters were ripping apart our homes, our public infrastructures, our businesses, our roads, our bridges, our culverts, our youth facilities, our libraries, water and sewer infrastructures. I was with and witnessed our 3 fire departments, Alsable Forks, Jay, Upper Jay, and neighboring fire departments, and the Alsable Forks Ambulance Service, and our town DPW staff. I watched them risk their own lives to save others through amazing rescues through raging waters. When daybreak came on August 29th, in surveying the damages with my deputy supervisor, Archie Depot, throughout the town, I could not believe my eyes. I was devastated. The town was torn apart, and hundreds upon hundreds of people were needing short and long-term help. Back to my office I went, shut my door, again called my wife, and shed some tears. I was never so scared in all my life. Sorry. My wife said, this is when true leaders shine, and you will do your best to make sure your people are safe. At that moment, phone calls began between our great governor's staff. What do you need? The governor wants you to know you're not facing this alone. He wants to meet with you to assess the damages in Jay and Keene. Within hours, equipment, the National Guard, DOT, CMO, FEMA, commissioners from state agencies, Senator Little, were assigned to make our lives a little bit easier. As each day went by, our governor was constantly reaching out to us. He walked in our homes, visited with emergency services, helped clean up debris, in mud and help console our flood victims with hugs and ensuring words that he wasn't leaving us alone, and the state will be there to the end to make her stronger, more resilient, and better than before. The story of the Upper J Fire Department began with a flood. We endured insurance claim issues, FEMA issues, all along the way. The governor responded, assigned the New York State Department of Financial Services to help reach an insurance agreement, assigned top CMO staff to work with FEMA officials to help us reach an agreement, but most of all, secured $1.5 million to build this new fire station, and then the best thing, out of future flooding harm's way. This governor gets it. He leads with actions, not words, and does so with integrity and honesty to serve his people in the state better than anyone before. Yes, we are still recovering 3 years later of our 5-year plan. However, some good came out of it. Good came out of Irene, long-lasting friendships, partisan politics were not to be seen, and in some cases, neighbors who had not talked in years were seen helping each other out, helping each other recover. I am most thankful for the wonderful town board, county officials, employees, elected officials, our great Senator Little, Assemblywoman, at that time Assemblywoman Sayward, current Assemblyman Steck, Assemblywoman Dupree. There was no partisan lines, no district lines. Congressman Owens, Senator Schumer, and Senator Gillibrand for continuing to our aid over these last few years. And to my dear friend and colleague, Supervisor Bill Farabee from the town of Keene. Together, we went through this. All have played such a prominent role as we still rebuild better and stronger than we ever were. Over the last 11 years, believe it or not, our little town has been through 10 states of emergencies, through floods, through hurricanes, and even earthquakes. But we got ourselves up, dusted ourselves off, and we are more resilient than ever because of after the effects of Hurricane Irene. We learned a lot. Think about what Governor Cuomo has done and continues to do. He came, he witnessed damages firsthand, assessed damages with town, county, state, and federal officials of what is needed to rebuild better and stronger than, and then finds a way, most of all, to provide the funding. Thinking about it, 2 towns, $25 million worth of damage, $2 million annual budgets. How are we going to do that? We did that with the help of Governor Cuomo. This governor gets it. He works long days and nights, weekends, to make sure his people are safe. Sometimes out of the blue, many of us get one of those restricted phone calls that say, it's the governor, just to say, how's it going? Do you have everything you need? He amazes me of his commitment to this great state. Governor, today is to cut a ribbon and open this new beautiful firehouse, but it's also a way for me to personally say thank you for you definitely, and certainly continue to make all in our little town, in our little county, a better place to live. I can honestly tell you, there was no way we could do this alone. We have wonderful emergency services, wonderful town and county employees, staff. People came from all over the world to help us. We had people from Australia that were here visiting, came and helped us for weeks. I can honestly tell you, there was one man that led us through it. Think about it. I didn't have the expertise. I'm a politician. I didn't have the expertise to lead this town through this disaster or this county. But I know one man did, and he reached out to me, and I can honestly tell you, except for my deceased father, there's no man I respect more than the governor of the state of New York. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my honor and pleasure to introduce you to our great governor and my dear friend, Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. Boy, talk about a tough act to follow, huh? First, to Chief Strait and the men and women who serve in this fire department. First, congratulations on this really beautiful building. I mean, it's so beautiful, I didn't want to step on the floor when I walked in. I wanted to clean my feet. Let's give everyone a round of applause who worked on this. Thank you for your service. Thank you for what you do every day. To Senator Betty Little, you see how great Betty is in the district, and you know how attentive she is to your needs and how responsive. You don't get to see and fully appreciate how effective she is on the Albany side, because there's a little group of people called the New York State Legislature there, 213 of them or so, and you have to get them to say yes before you really get anything done. And that can be a little tricky at times. But Senator Little has such respect on both sides of the aisle that when she gets behind something, there is just no telling her no. And her colleagues respect her. So all the good things that you've heard that we've been getting done, none of them happen without Betty Little getting that legislature to act. So let's give her a round of applause and thank her. To Randy Douglas, let me say this. Your words were beautiful because they were from your heart, and that's where the beautiful words always come from. Your wife gave you the best advice. In times, when times are toughest, is when you see what people are made of. When the pressure is on, that's when you see the character. And that's when you separate the weak from the strong. There's a book called The Leadership Moment by Michael Useem that said, circumstances conspire and create a situation, and then people respond in that situation. And you get to see them in that situation. Randy, no one did anything to help the county that your leadership and your example didn't have them do. You were the leader that day. You stepped up. You found the strength within you to pull people together, and we followed you. And we followed you to safety. And you should remember that always. Randy Douglas, let's give him a round of applause. To all the other local elected officials, to Gary Douglas from the REDC, it's so nice to be with all of you again on this beautiful, bright, sunny day on high ground. It is a beautiful thing. You know, this building says that what we said that day, our dream that day, just about 3 years ago, came true. We weren't going to build back. We were going to build back better. We were going to learn from it. We were going to come back stronger, more resilient, and we did. This is a better facility than we had. So we did build back better. And for me, thinking back, there's a lot of lessons from what we went through. There are leadership lessons, government lessons, political lessons. One of the lessons is there is a new normal when it comes to weather patterns. You're exactly right. Anyone who says, well, that happened and it was 1 in 100 years and it's not coming back, that is a fool's errand, I believe. That is denial. We have to be prepared. We have to be equipped. We have to be better prepared and better equipped than we ever have been, because there is an extreme weather pattern. It is more and more frequent. Things happen, not just here, all across the state, all across the country, all across the world. You're having storms that you never had. I don't know what caused it. I don't know. And I don't know that it's relevant either. The result is an extreme weather pattern that is problematic, that we have to be prepared for. And we're doing everything we can in the state to be prepared for it. We're going to open the first college in the country on emergency preparedness. We're working together, state and locals, like we've never done before. We're going to have weather detection equipment in every county. One of the things on Irene, all the forecasts were that it was going to hit New York City. I don't know if you remember. Upstate New York was not going to be a problem. So we deployed all the equipment from across the state down to New York City. We brought equipment from Buffalo down to New York City because that's what the weather forecaster said. Turned out New York City was fine, storm deviated, and the storm hit upstate New York. We had to move everything back up. So new weather detection systems, but that's one lesson, to be prepared, to be ready. One of the other lessons is how strong and beautiful this state can be as a community, how people can come together, how day in, day out we live our own lives, we're in our own towns, we're in our own counties. But something happens and people need help, and boy, you see them come together. You see the decency of humanity. You see the family of New York and how they came together. Betty mentioned labor for your neighbor. It happened just around Labor Day. So we had the crazy idea of asking people to volunteer on Labor Day from across the state to come to affected communities. And people said, well, nobody's going to come on Labor Day. First, it was only like 1 week notice. And they said everybody has plans on Labor Day, and they're not going to travel on Labor Day to go shovel mud. We put out a call. Thousands and thousands of people showed up from all over the state to help people literally shovel out their basements, one shovel at a time. It was so inspiring to see. And one of the other lessons is you and what you've done and the power of believing in your own capacity. We're going to go over and check on the Whiteface Memorial Highway in a little bit. FDR dedicated the highway. And when he dedicated it with 4 words: it can be done. It can be done. They built a road up one of the steepest mountains in the state. They made a national monument. It can be done. It can be done. We're going to build back better in the middle of the storm. It can be done. We're here. We did build back better. Almost impossible to conceive in the middle of all that damage, but we did. And on a grander scale, you've been doing that in the North Country for 4 years. I mean, things have been getting better and going in the right direction, and you've been doing it for 4 years. Remember where we were 4 years ago. Remember the feeling in the North Country 4 years ago. It's a totally different feeling than it is now. It was much more of a fragmented feeling in the North Country. You know, it was so big, everybody had their own county, they were in their own town. There was no North Country identity or passion or energy that said we're all united, we're all one. Let's be honest, think about the relationship between the North Country and Albany 4 years ago. There was a sense that the state government wasn't attached, that it wasn't connected, that it wasn't really attuned to what the North Country needed. And look at the progress in the past 4 years. Regional Economic Development Council came together, Gary Douglas and Tony Collins, people from all the counties in the North Country working together, coming up with one plan, one vision, all pulling in the same direction. And then success after success after success. Regional Economic Development Council wins the competition every year, winds up doing better than every other region in the state of New York. North Country beats New York City, beats Long Island, Western New York, the North Country. Who would have figured? Should have placed a bet. The odds, I would have been rich. And you look at the projects that's going on, and you look at the development that's going on all over. Started Plattsburgh, look at Bombardier, the investment there, the Black River Energy Plant. Hotel Saranac is going to come back finally, sign of blight right in the middle of the town for so many years, and it's going to be redeveloped. Lake Flower in Saranac, Lake Placid is doing great. The numbers are just really fantastic, and they're up off the charts. The Clayton Hotel is coming back. Connect New York, so you have internet connections everywhere all across the North Country, all pointed in the same direction. All from it can be done. It can be done, from a group of people who said we refuse to take no for an answer. And we're going to come together, and we're going to put our differences aside, and we're going to work together, and we're going to improve our community and improve our home. And you did it. No one else did it. Some of us were on the fringes as good neighbors, good colleagues there to help. But it was your determination, it was your grit, it was your passion, it was your leadership that made this a reality. Just as you put this building together, you're rebuilding the North Country and not rebuilding the North Country. It's going to be better than it has ever been before. I believe that. Betty's right, all the numbers are great. Tourism numbers are way up. Essex sales tax revenue up 10%. By the way, it goes up anymore. I'm making this a loan and not a grant. Tourism's up, the sales tax is up. People know the North Country exists. The more we get out the word, the more people want to come. So it is all good. Last year we had the largest one-year drop in unemployment in upstate New York since they've been keeping numbers. Since they've been keeping numbers. It can be done, and you're doing it, and it's been my pleasure to be a small part of it and watch you do it. Congratulations on this firehouse. Congratulations on all your progress over the past 3 years. Congratulations for what you're doing as a community and how you came together and what you're doing as a united force. Thank you for having me.
We're not quite going to let him get away this easy. You often wonder how you can say thanks. This is a small token of our appreciation to the Governor of the State of New York, Mayor Cuomo, for all the work that you have done on our behalf. I would like to call up Commissioner Wayne Roberts, my first Assistant Chief, Robbie Lincoln. They have a small presentation for you. Now, folks, is the moment we've all been waiting for. We're going to cut the ribbon in a ceremony to dedicate our new fire station. So if you'll follow the people, they'll direct you to your locations, and we'll get ready for our big moment.